Hey everybody, I'm Scott Weichel. You're listening to My Kind of Country on MKOCRadio.com. If you watched Hee Haw when you were growing up, you got to remember this lady. They called her the girl with the blue fiddle. And she not only was on Hee Haw for many years, but she has traveled all over the world. In fact, she's played in 50 different countries. She's a member of the Western Swing Hall of Fame, and she is an international star. And it's a pleasure to have her on the show tonight. This is Jana J. Jana, how are you tonight?
Good morning. Well, it's night there, huh? Okay. We're in different time zones, but good evening to all your listeners, and we're just so glad to be with you today, Scott.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
I've got to get my time straight.
Well, that's all right.
I am traveling. I'm going to Romania on Sunday, so that will be my 50th country.
Wow, that's
performed in 50 countries when we hit Romania.
Wow, that's incredible. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we're doing a week of touring Romania and gypsy music, and there are two concerts with gypsy musicians and dancers over there. And then the following week we are doing a week of chamber music and have two concerts for that. That week we're kind of close to Dracula's castle in Predale. I don't know how they say it, Predale maybe. But it's a historic area, and I've never been close to Romania, so I'm really looking forward to this. And of course, their music is the Roma music, the gypsy music is exciting, and it's their traditional folk music, so it'll be very, very interesting.
Absolutely. Nice to experience different cultures, and I'm sure you've had a lot of great experiences in the different countries you've been in, and it seems like all of the, especially people in Europe and the UK and everything, they absolutely love country music, fiddle music, and I'm sure you're very well received.
They do. It's wonderful to share our American music all over the world, and that's really what I do. I feel like I'm an ambassador, of our traditional American music and sharing that all over the world. When I was in Buck's band, we traveled a lot in Europe and England, Japan. They all just love country music, bluegrass music, traditional American music that has come from our roots is just really lauded. So it's nice to share. I'll be, taking our American fiddle music and country music, and they will be sharing their gypsy music, their traditional folk music. So that's nice. Music is that international language,
Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about that. Well, folks, you can go to Jana's website. It's janaj.com, and check out all the dates where she's going to be, read more about her, and get some of her great music. And she's also on Facebook, and she has stuff available at CD Baby as well. And we were talking a little bit before we got on air that you've got a scholarship from Interlochen Music Camp, which is about 10 miles from where I live.
I know. I saw Traverse City. I know that area. I absolutely loved being in Interlochen. And it's a fabulous opportunity for everybody, anyone listening, who's musically studying musically. They have a whole year-round program, but I was there for the summer. And the lakes and the outside setting and playing about 10 hours a day. I felt like I could play anything in the world, it was just nonstop playing music. So it was really quite an experience and beautiful area.
Very well known.
And Joanna Harris, and anyway, lots and lots of wonderful things happen at Interlochen. So
absolutely.
I have a big vote of confidence in that.
Yes, they are known all over the world. We've had many, many stars that have been there, and they have great concerts during the summer, and it's a fabulous school, no doubt about it. Well, your parents also studied at Juilliard, and then your grandfather he kind of was the instigator of getting you involved in really playing fiddle music and learning to play by ear too. Is that right?
Exactly. It was it was really wonderful to have music in my family. And yes, my parents were both violinists, and they met at Juilliard and got married and had me. I was the first, and my dad thought I was going to be a child prodigy, you know, classical artist. And he started me out at age 2 on an 8th-size violin. I couldn't even reach down to the fingerboard. I had to hold the body of the violin and just learn rhythms and open strings for a while. But then my mom kept it really interesting. You know, I was supposed to practice an hour a day at age 2. And so Mother would break it into little segments of time, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. We were playing music all day, but had breaks, and she made it fun. So later, I think age 7, my folks were divorced, and we moved to Idaho to live with my mother's parents, my grandparents. And my granddaddy, like you said, was a champion fiddle player. And every night we would play music by ear, and he taught me all the old-time fiddle tunes and the dances, the accompanying dances, you know, the schottische, the polka, the Varsuviana, all that. And it was just a great experience. I was studying, you know, reading music during the day and doing that part of the music. And then in the evenings, we got loose with a family jam session, and Grandmother played piano, Granddaddy on the fiddle, and we just had so much fun. So I would do some classical concerto I'd worked on really hard for a performance like age 12 or 13. And then I'd play one of Granddaddy's fiddle tunes as an encore, and guess what happened? You know, the encores just, the place would explode. And I think part of it was the contrast between the classical and the really hard-driving fiddle tunes. But I learned at a very early age that what brought a smile to people's faces, and I loved that. So, the table is flipped now. I play mostly the fiddle music, but I do insert a Flight of the Bumblebee or Chardash or something like that in all of my concerts. And folks, I think they enjoy it because it's such a change, you know, such a contrast. Oh my gosh, he can do that too. So that works, and I take advantage of that.
Absolutely. Well, you know, all the videos and pictures that I've seen of you playing, you always have a smile on your face, and that just brings that out to everybody else too. You know, that's wonderful.
I do love playing, and I do love sharing music. And, right now I am in Weiser, Idaho at the National Old Time Fiddle Contest and Festival. And I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of musicians of all kinds. And it's just a gathering as well as a fiddle contest. You know, it's a gathering. They have big campgrounds, and every motel is booked for miles. I think it's the 60th year.
Wow.
For this. And so it's really quite a thrill. And you talk about smiles, you know, and learning new tunes, learning new styles, all that. It makes it really, really fun. A lot of singers, good singers, and a lot of traditional country. It's the Bob Wills type of Western swing is real big here, and it's just really fun to see, and the traditional old-time music is big here as well. It's fun to see all that going on in one area.
Oh, absolutely. Now, you also do a fiddle camp Labor Day weekend as well, right?
That is coming up, yes. That's been going on, 15 years or so. I think we're closer to 20 years now. Wow. Time flies. Mm-hmm. But that's good. We have about 110 participants and 20 instructors. So it's for all ages, all levels, and all areas of interest. We have some Suzuki teachers for the little ones, and we have contest fiddle champions, and we have country show type of, to learn to play in a band, that sort of focus. So we have it all, and it's a great deal of fun. It's right on Grand Lake in Oklahoma, right in the center of the country.
Outstanding. Well, you can get that information on janaj.com, which we will have on our Facebook page as well. And Jana J also has a Facebook page, and her music is available at CD Baby and iTunes also. And Jana, I know that obviously Hee Haw and Buck Owens were a huge part of your career. Tell me a little bit. I understand it was kind of a whirlwind thing. Getting involved with Buck Owens and getting on the road with him. How did that whole thing come about, and the audition and everything?
Oh gosh, that was in Redding, California, when I met Buck, and I had been teaching in Redding. Got a string program started there, which is still ongoing. I love that, but that is, we planted that seed and planted it well, and that's still a really wonderful string program. Lots and lots of music going on in Redding, California. But Buck did a concert at the college, and I had been teaching a couple classes at the college. And this fellow at the college said, you've got to come to this girl. You've got to meet Buck Owens. And he told Buck, you've got to meet this girl who plays fiddle. And so, I honed up on Buck, and I thought, it was a very busy day for me. I'd been playing all day. I was kind of tired, but I thought, man, I do want to meet him. So in between shows, we visited backstage, and he said, well, can you play Orange Blossom Special? I said, well, sure. And he said, well, we'll get you on stage to play that if that's okay. And I said, and I had my violin with me because I'd been working, teaching. And so I got on stage with Don Rich, the great Don Rich, and all the Buckaroos, and I mean, we got kind of a triple standing ovation. It was really a wonderful experience.
Wow.
And then I stayed in touch with Buck's manager, Jack McFadden, because I thought that Jack could book our bluegrass band. We had a bluegrass band at the time, and playing in the French Gulch Hotel outside of Reading and just packing it, with a great deal of fun and success there. So I kept in touch with Jack, thinking that he could book this fantastic bluegrass band. And about every week we'd visit for a little bit, and this went on for a month or two. And then one day Jack called me and said, I want you to, you need to get to Bakersfield right now. And I said, gosh, I'm working. We were playing at Tia Maria's in Sacramento, and this whole band, and he said, no, you need to just come. And I said, well, is this for the bluegrass band? He said, no, Buck wants to hear you. So I just dropped everything, got a plane ticket, and flew down there. Jack met me, put me up in a motel, and he said, do not leave this room, and just order room service, and I'll get it, whatever else you need, if there's anything you need. So he checked with me the next day, and the next day, and the next day. It was a full week. Well, I had recorded all of Buck's songs. So I was in this motel room, and all I did was practice, and I had learned every Buck Owens song, all the licks, backwards and forwards, and I was about to give up. I said, I need to get back to my band, and it was a full week, and Jack called that last morning, and he said, okay, Buck's ready to hear you. He's in the studio. Pack all your things. We'll check you out. I'll be there in 10 minutes. So here I am living in this hotel room for a week, that 10 minutes was not very realistic. But I said, Jack, I can't possibly be ready in 10 minutes. He said, I'll see you in 10. So that was kind of, that set the tone of what happened with Buck Owens and that whole experience, because it was a fast-moving, you had to get on the train and just roll with it. And I was able to do that. We did this audition about 3 or 4 hours. He had me play this, had me play that. The Buckaroos were there. We played his tunes. Then he'd say, can you play Listen to the Mockingbird? Do something else showy. We'll do something classical. Well, can you do Flight of the Bumblebee? I didn't have that one down yet, but he said, I want you to learn that. So I did. And very complicated fingering and all that.
Yeah.
But anyway, at the end of the audition, I thought I was going back to Sacramento. Nobody said anything. Buck left. Jack came in and said, let's go. And I said, well, am I going back to Sacramento? And he said, no, you're going with Buck.
Wow.
And that was it. We were on the road. We went to Las Vegas. They shopped for clothes for me and, to fit in with the band's wardrobe. And it was a fast beginning.
I guess
I
so.
couldn't have done it if I hadn't been, really ready. I mean, for the playing part, I knew I could play, so I had that confidence to be able to play. But, they looked at me and do the kickoff to Diggy Liggy Lie. Well, I was a little blank there the very first show because it happened so fast. Well, Jerry Wiggins, the drummer, counted it off, and that saved my bacon. And then on, everything was okay.
Wow, so you were the first female buckaroo.
That's right. For Buckarette.
Buckarette, there you go.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks don't know that Don Rich was also a very accomplished fiddle player. And, of course, he's very well known for his guitar playing, but he played fiddle. But I understand he didn't really like to play fiddle. Is that true?
I played with Don that one time, big smile on his face, playing Orange Blossom Special, and he was just great on fiddle. I can't imagine he didn't enjoy it. He probably preferred guitar. But, after we played together in Reading, I'm not sure of the exact amount of time. I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks, or 6 weeks maybe. And Don was tragically killed on his motorcycle. He had a motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
And that is the reason, they called me, because Jack McFadden wanted to save, but, Buck was just terribly depressed. I mean, Don was his right hand and his harmony singer and his guitarist and lead guitarist and fiddle player and, the works. And that wonderful high harmony that Don Rich had, made the Buck Owens sound.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So he had to replace Don. So he had Doyle singing the harmony and, marvelous guitarist Don Lee on guitar. And anyway, they all rallied. But then for the fiddle, they thought, this is what I learned later, Jack said, well, having a girl is a little different. They won't compare her. It will be something unique. And so they called me. And it worked out. And Buck later told me, he said, you were sent from God.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now I know you and Buck were married for a short time. What was he like off the stage? Was he very was he kind to everybody? I've heard a lot of different stories back and forth, and I've just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on working with Buck Owens behind the scenes.
You're going to have to read my book.
Well, there we go.
I'm working on a book.
Oh, good.
It's gonna take me a couple years, I'm afraid, because I'm enjoying playing so much. I don't have time to work on that book. Not much, but I've got a couple co-authors, but it's quite a process, and I'm not very good with chronology because I don't think in years. I think in, progress. but Buck was great on and off stage. I mean, I learned so much from him as a stage persona. He was a showman. He knew how to get the audience in the palm of his hand.
Absolutely.
And, he got me many standing ovations. It was wonderful to work with on stage. Off stage, he was hilarious. He was just, he was quite a strong personality and fun. He was really a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. And, it was when we got married, that's quite a story in itself. We'll save that for the book, all those details. But it was a Las Vegas wedding, and then we stayed in Las Vegas for a week or 10 days and had the most wonderful time. And so it was very complicated because of contracts and business and that sort of thing. And, it just was pretty traumatic there for a little while. About a year and a half is all we were married, as opposed to what, the press said something about 2 days. It wasn't 2 days at all. It was about a year and a half. But we remained friends. And he called me, like every Sunday. The last year or two of his life, he'd call and talk to me for a couple of hours, and we just, he really wanted me to come back to, the Crystal Palace and all that. I did go play at the Crystal Palace a couple times, but there wasn't a way I could go back because,
you had your own career.
It had gone on.
Yeah,
Gone
absolutely.
on, yeah. But I did appreciate Buck, and, he actually made my career in music possible, because all that took me to Hee Haw and all that exposure on television. And Hee Haw, I'm still doing shows with my Hee Haw friends.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. You've got a Cornfield Friends Hee Haw tribute. That's with Lulu Roman, Misty Rowe, and Buck Trent.
That's right. That's coming up in the fall, and I think we're going to do much more of that. People still love Hee Haw.
Oh, absolutely.
They love Hee Haw,
Yep.
and they have so many terrific memories. And my family watched Hee Haw every Saturday night. And of course, it's still on RFD TV.
Yeah, we always watched it. My 12-year-old daughter loves to watch it. And, they had all the best, all the superstars of the time were on that show. I mean, it was as big, if not bigger, than the Grand Ole Opry. I mean, it was. That's where you went, and you were on over 100 episodes. And tell me a quick story about one of your experiences at Hee Haw, maybe a funny story or something that stands out for you.
Oh, well, what I remember is Gaylord Sartain. He was, the funny guy who made us all light up on camera. He would make weird sounds or tell some little joke or something to just crack us up. Everybody'd be laughing, and then they'd turn on the camera for the cast, Pickin' and Grinnin' or some of the cast songs. And Gaylord was really funny and fun. And Junior Samples was hilarious because he was the real deal.
Yep.
He couldn't read. He'd mess up his lines. He'd try to get it, before they on the camera, and then he'd still mess it up. But he was a dear fellow. He was just a wonderful guy. He brought his jug of moonshine one day. That kind of was a shock. Threw that jug of moonshine over his shoulder, and he said, "Yeah, that's how we do it," But he was just an authentic character, and that's what made that show. These were, there wasn't a huge amount of acting. Of course, Roy Clark did all those different personas, and they had all the skits and so forth. but they had some real characters, and Ronnie Stoneman, was so funny. Now, Ronnie has become very glamorous, and Lulu has lost weight and become glamorous. But I thought, oh, gosh, they're going to ruin their persona, their hee-haw persona. But, people still love them the same way.
Absolutely.
And Lulu is just a great voice, great singer, and she has a story to tell, Misty, and, well, I think Ganella Hutton's still working, too. We'll have a lot of people on this Cornfield Friends show. But right now, it's the four of us who have gotten together. Misty wrote a cute blonde who always did this skit with Junior Samples. She's just such a professional and has the right clothes and some TV footage from Hee Haw that she shows on a big screen and dances when I play the fiddle. I mean, we just have a really great show. Buck Trent is just phenomenal on the banjo. Roy Clark has had just a little bit of a health issue. He's had some surgeries and things. He's kind of recovering from that. And he's currently in rehab right now. So he may even join us. We hope he can. And before too long. And we're just going to have a great time. So we hope
wonderful.
Your listeners will find their way to a Cornfield Friends show.
Absolutely. JanaJ.com is the website to check all that information out. And I hope, Jana, when you get your book done, you'll come back on the show. I'd love to do a feature on that as well. I know you got a lot of great stories that are going to be in there and more stories to tell.
It's going to be a fun book to work on, and I will accept your invitation.
Well, I appreciate that very much. It has been an honor talking with you today. I want to play some of your music from your fabulous albums. We're going to play, this is they call it the Hee Haw Polka. It's actually kind of a medley of Buck's Polka and Razzmatazz Polka with the Buckaroos. And I want to play Faded Love. Your version of Faded Love is just stellar. That is my favorite Bob Wills song, and Johnny Gimble I was a big fan of Johnny Gimble, and I always love to hear him play this, but I'll tell you, your version is just beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we miss Johnny, and but we have been honored to visit with you, Scott, and we're just happy that you're playing some of that good traditional music. I've got a whole Bob Wills medley on one of the albums, and a lot of Buck's Polka was one of my favorites to do, and you're right. You are so right on exactly how that all worked out and how we did it, and we're glad you enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And we're glad your listeners enjoy that.
Well, I thank you so much. And again, it's JanaJ.com. We'll put that information on our Facebook page. And have a safe trip to Romania. I look forward to hearing all about that. It's going to be really exciting for you.
Thank you. Well, take good care of the folks in Traverse City and around the world, your listeners.
All right. Jana J., thank you so much for being on My Kind of Country. I sure enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you. Talk to you later.